Hold on 1 second. I went to something first.
Not be told about it. That was about the fact that the first change that takes place is in your mind. You have to change your mind before you change the way you live and the way you move. So when we said that the revolution would not be televised, we were saying that that the thing that's going to change people is something that no one will ever be able to capture on film.
Yo, welcome. Okay, sorry, I had to fix something. Hello, everybody. Welcome to SIP Community Space. Trying to work out iron out the wrinkles. I had to figure out how to do this tech thing, and the good news is we are here. So I want to begin how we always begin. We're going to do 5 regular charge breaths into our upper chest, and then we're going to take a moment, and then we're going to do 5 doubles. So sit down somewhere, get comfortable, get grounded, and we're going to do 5 breaths through your mouth into your upper chest. 5 breaths through your mouth into your chest. One more. Take a moment, use your eyes, look around the room, colors and objects. Allow the intensity that you just built up, allow it to settle, and give yourself a moment. And now we're going to do 5 doubles into your chest. One more. Close your eyes. Take a moment, take your awareness to your body. Connect to the intensity in your body. Connect to the intensity that you just built up with those breaths. Take your awareness to your body. Hold on to wherever you experience that intensity. Take some normal breaths. Allow the intensity in your body to settle. This is not a crisis. And then whenever you're ready, bring yourself back into the room. And when you come back into the room, use your eyes, look around, connect to everything or everyone else in the room. What do you experience in your body? Take a moment, take your awareness to your body. What's it like for you to be alive right now? What do you experience in your body? So before we get into too much of that, first I want to say welcome to the SIP community space. So what is SIP? SIP is Somatic Integrative Psychotherapy. It is a therapeutic framework that I created. It's built off of other frameworks, starting with Gestalt and then IBP, and then I took it forward and I have created SIP, Somatic Integrative Psychotherapy. And the reason I created SIP is because I look out at the field of mental health and I can see where it needs to go. I feel like there's a lot. I feel like the crutches that mental health uses are not really built for people to actually do the work they need to do for the client to actually heal. They're more built for the structures surrounding the people. So whether that is like institutions, like insurance, hospitals, pharmaceutical companies, but it's not really built for people. And so, I got very lucky. I fell into a kind of therapy when I was young called integrative body psychotherapy. And it allowed me to see a different side of what mental health was or is. And then I went and became a therapist myself, and I was able to take my deeper understanding of what mental health is and kind of integrate it into, what I was being taught as a therapist, coming up. And so it's been about 10 years since I've had my practice. I'm out here in Los Angeles. And in the last couple years, I've really taken my own framework and like really built it out. And so this is it. This is the community space for somatic integrative psychotherapy. So in short, it's taken a really long time. And you want to hear something funny? So I started writing a book like 10 years ago, and over the 10 years, I've really honed the book. And like the last 3 or like last 2 years, actually, the book is like, it has beautifully encompassed what SIP is. And I'm excited for that to come out, who knows? But I'll say probably, I want to say 2026 is my year. 2026 is my year. Take a breath in your chest. So I want us to begin. I want to begin by kind of talking about what the difference is with SIP and what the difference is with, most therapies out there right now. So most therapies are based around the diagnosis model, right? So you come into the room, and so they see a symptom, and then they label the symptom. They use, the intensity of the symptoms, when your symptoms come up, what kind of symptoms, the flavor of the symptom, and then they're able to categorize you into different arenas. And then these arenas help the clinician and the psychiatrist to either provide medication or provide intervention. But I think that's, like I was saying, this does a huge disservice. Don't get me wrong. I do think that there is a certain number of people that can really benefit from this model. More so people who are in pretty dire strengths in their life, and they don't have the ability to just be in the room to do the work, which that is a certain percentage of people on the planet. And so I do think for those people, it is very important that they go down that road. But for most everyone else who can sit in the room, I think all that road does is kind of just continue to incentivize actually your own injuries inside yourself. Take a breath in your chest. So, in order to describe SIP, I first want to talk about. So you can probably see this thing. Where is it? It's over here. This thing on the side of your screen, right? So I created this. This is called the ladder, right? So what is this exactly? This is essentially um, it's describing why you develop these symptoms slash skills that you develop to begin with. Why we as human beings even have these symptoms. And in order to understand that, we kind of have to look at the history of our species and how we evolved emotionally. So for like 8% of the time a species have been on this planet, we've been living in like hunter-gatherer societies, small little hunter-gatherer villages. And in those villages, we like li- how we evolved emotionally is perfect for those scenarios. So how you have a relationship with yourself and your emotions is perfect. If you lived in a tiny little village, in a tiny little hunter-gatherer village, you wouldn't need to change a thing. There would be no need for therapy because it would perfectly align to that environment, right? Then what happened is technology kind of shot us forward. It shot us out of these little villages. It allowed us to like It started with like feudalism. It allowed us to go and like live on someone's land, to go leave our little village to like try and make money in a different way. And then capitalism came along, and even more so, you could go. America is like it lived off the propaganda of like you don't need anyone else to make it except for you, your own bootstraps, which obviously has potentially, not potentially, but negative consequences to the world we live in now. But what these things did, what this technology did, is it allowed us as a species to move much faster than how we know how to have a relationship with our emotions and ourself. Take a breath in your chest. We are not geared. We were not evolved to have emotional relationships with outside of what I like to think of as like your mom's house, right? When we were in the village, everything was your mom's house. You left your mother's tent or hut and you go, and like everyone probably had a very similar emotional relationship. So what is that emotional relationship? How did we learn how to survive? Well, so we can look at the latter, right? And I want to start at the self. I want to start at the self. We'll go through a bunch of these, and I'll describe. Well, real quick, I'll just kind of describe it. So we all started at the self, and then we got injured, and then sadness came up. Sadness that we weren't allowed to feel. We'll go into it. You had to leave. You had to disconnect from yourself, and so then you built skills on top of that sadness that helped you to navigate the environment you were in, the social environment you were in. So you first turned that sadness into your basic fault, which is essentially being like, I'm bad. And then you developed internal skills with this crisis was like kind of the motor. We all have a crisis inside of ourselves. And then we developed internal skills, and those skills helped you manipulate the energy inside yourself to distance yourself from your own vulnerability. And then you developed external skills. And the external skills essentially allowed you to go out into the world and try to manipulate the energy of the world around you in order to get your needs met. Right. So I'll go through those a little more, but I just kind of wanted to describe what the latter is. These skills got built on top of each other, right? Just as an example, when we had to leave our sadness, it's not like when you disconnect from your sadness, it's not like the sadness just disappears. The sadness is still there. And so we have to use that sadness, the energy of that sadness, or I should say, it will get used, the energy of that sadness. It will get used, and it gets used and injected and recycled into all of these different skills. Um, Take a breath into your chest. But I want to start at the self. I want to start at the self. So we come into this world, all of us, come into this world connected to our sense of self. That is the human experience. We come into this world, we're a bundle of cells. We are just connected to our aliveness. We need food, we need warmth. And when we don't get that, we're going to cry, I'm hungry. I need love. And so, we come into an environment where our parents already have the injuries that they have. Our mother is able to really connect to us in some forms of love and energy. And in some forms of love and energy, she is not able to. Think about a child coming in to the world as like a broad spectrum of energy. You know, our mothers had to, leave some of that energy because that energy brought up things inside themselves that they had to leave and not look at. Take a breath. So it's much like a deer teaching its child, its fawn, to how to survive in the wild, how to eat, what to eat, where to move, how to exist. Right? That's what we as social animals do with our emotions. So when you came into this world and you had certain flavors of sadness, your mother got fragmented herself because of those flavors. And so she abandoned you. She disconnected from you because of her own fragmentation when that sadness came up. Right? And so what that does, we have a way of like Hollywood it, like Hollywoodifying, Hollywoodifying, um, like things, like glorifying, like certain trauma, like big trauma becomes this huge explosion. But the real things to pay attention to are these tiny little ways in which your mother abandoned you. The more she did it consistently, the more you adjusted and developed skills in order to survive her leaving you. Take a breath. And when your mother left you when you were very young, obviously you're very young. You needed that connection. You needed that love. And so this feeling came up, she ran away. And so what you had to then do is you had to then demonize the sadness in your body. The same sadness that was difficult for your mother to be present with is the same sadness that you had to go like, oh, no, I also don't like that. Mom, don't worry. I know you don't like that. I also do not like that sadness. And so then you had to make this sadness bad. You had to attach this idea to the sadness of, I'm bad. And so over time, you propagandized yourself with every time the sadness came up, you go, don't worry, mom. I'm bad, so that you could build a bridge to get the connection to her. Take a breath. Right, when we're very young, we have to leave our sense of self. We have to go and build a bridge to our mother to maintain connection so that we don't get abandoned. Because if you get abandoned, children who are without connection die. And so it was literally life or death. You had feelings come up, your mother got injured, you created a bridge. She created distance, you created a bridge in order to mitigate that distance. Take a breath in your chest. What do you experience in your body? Take a moment. Take your awareness to yourself. You're either connected or you are fragmented. You're either connected to your sense of self or you are fragmented. You're in one state or the other. What I want you to do is I want you to start at the foundation. The foundation of yourself, the foundation of the journey that you need to go on is one in which you are connected or you are fragmented. In the tiny village, if we all lived in tiny villages, you would be able to live in a state of fragmentation. Because your family, your village would give you enough emotional band-aids for you to not have to leave, for you to not have to find yourself. But we do not live in tiny villages anymore. Nobody in the world is going to give you what you need. If you want love, if you want the deep love and connection that you are looking for, you have to give it to yourself. You have to find the ways in which you abandon yourself and heal the wounds. You have to be the one that gives it, because if you just continue to fragment and disconnect from yourself and make yourself bad and make yourself broken and make yourself never enough, then essentially what you're doing is you're waiting on the world to fill that gap. And when you were young, your mother would fill that gap. She would. She would give you what you needed. You know how we know this? We know this because you practice these skills. Everything that you practice is incentivized, is emotionally incentivized from your childhood. If your mother did not show up and give you connection based on the things that you did, you wouldn't still do them. They wouldn't even be a conversation to be had. It wouldn't even be something that would come up in room. Take a breath. What do you experience in your body? Take a moment, take your awareness to yourself. What's it like being alive right now? You're either connected or you are fragmented. That's it. You're either in one state or the other. In order to heal, you have to learn to go down the ladder now. We learn to go up the ladder, but now we have to learn to go down the ladder. It's not enough. It's not enough for you to develop the incredible skills that you developed on this ladder. It's not enough for you to stay doing the same patterns. If you have enough money in your life, you can create a bubble around yourself that you don't ever have to change, and the world will just acquiesce to all your fuck shit. But what a waste of your life. Then you are wasting your own life. You're the one who's missing out on your own life if that's the case. You're the one who actually doesn't get to live the life for you. You're living the life based upon the old prison. Disconnecting from yourself and implementing all of these symptoms to try to just get the world to give you an emotional band-aid. Take a breath. In order to figure out how to go down the ladder, we have to first start at the place of you are connected or you are fragmented. Also understand that that is the whole goal of what we're doing here, right? Like in any therapy you go to, in anything you do, the only goal is for you to live from your sense of self. That is the only goal. That's it. You probably experience you living from your sense of self in little moments. Maybe moments in which you're connected to friends. Maybe moments in which you are doing the hobbies that you love to do. But there are moments in your life in which you are connected to your sense of self. The only goal for us in this room is for you to live from that place for a majority of your life. Take a breath. Because the truth is, when you're in that place, I know you're good. We don't need to worry about you. You know the truth of your life. You know where you're headed. You know the right places that you need to be. You know the things that you want to do. When you are connected to yourself, it is as if you're connected to the depth of this compass in your body that cannot be taken from you. Take a breath. But you have to do work to get there. You have to do work. You're not in the village anymore. The village isn't going to give you the love you're looking for. You know, I've worked in the rehab world for a while, and I think that the people in rehab are some of the luckiest people for two reasons. One, actually, it's really one main reason, but the main reason is that their aliveness, their sense of self, is so loud in their body that they can't just be a zombie. They can't just disconnect. They need to take some substance, some chemical substance, in order to try to mitigate the voice of, I need love. They need to try to take something in order to soothe that. Take a breath. Why is their sense of self so loud? Well, essentially what that speaks to is the intensity of connection that you get when you're very young. And there is a difference between intensity loud versus intensity of intimate. And we're talking about is the intimacy, the intensity of emotional intimacy that a child feels with their parent. The child feels when their parent connects them and attunes to who they are. It gives the child an understanding of who they are. It gives the child room to be able to feel the things that the child needs to feel. Take a breath. It gives the child their own foundation. And so many times people who are in the rehab world, the reason they're in that world is because the foundation they got is actually really great. But that foundation was not copacetic in the world in which they had to survive as they started to age. Maybe they got that foundation from a connection with a grandparent. Maybe they got that foundation from a friend, a family friend. Maybe they got it from a sibling. Maybe they got it from a pet. Maybe they got it from an aunt or uncle. Take a breath. Maybe they got it because there was some intense thing that happened in the beginning of their life that all of their family really put their attention and held on to this kid for dear life. Either way, these are gifts. These are gifts that allowed the child to have a large sense of self. Now they are having to do extra work to try and maintain the old bullshit, the old prison. They're staying up, trying to get love from the world, being propagandized that they are bad so that they can continue the dance. Well, the truth is, you're not bad. The truth is, there's nothing inside of you that's broken. That's the truth. There's nothing inside of you that is broken. There's nothing inside of you that's broken. That's the truth. Take a breath. You're fine. The only reason you find evidence for you being broken is so that you can try to continue to get these band-aids from the world. You can find evidence that you're broken. You can try and figure out what that broken is. And then you can go out into the world and be like, look, world, look, I'm broken. And the world goes, oh, yes, you are. And in that exchange, for a moment, is a little band-aid of soothing. Oh, thank you. You see me. Allow the world to abandon you. You don't need anything from the world. You don't need anything from the world. Take a breath in your chest. What do you experience in your body? Take a moment. Take your awareness to yourself. What's it like for you to be alive right now? What's it like? You're either connected or you are fragmented. Breathe. Your only job is to start to find yourself. When I ask, what do you experience your body? Even if you can't answer that question right now, that's okay. When I say, what do you experience your body? What's more important is for us to look at the information of what you do when that question is being asked. What do you do? Do you say, I have no idea? Do you say, I don't know, do you start worrying about people? Did you turn off the stream? Do you go look at shit? Do you go anywhere but to just connect to your body experience? You know, we are very lucky, us human beings, because the work that you need to do, you are connected to it. It is literally in your body, right? That's why therapies like SIP are so important. Because what SIP does is it brings the body into the room. It uses the body as the mechanism, as the vehicle for change, as opposed to just relying on the narratives or the tools around the narratives. Can those be helpful? Yes, 100%. But in order to have real change, you need both cognitive understanding and change, but also you need experiential change. Experiential change is 60% of the work. I was going to say 60, and I was going to be like, maybe 55, but no, I'm sticking with 60. 60, maybe more, honestly, but whatever, we'll stick with 60. 60% of the work. And so when you come in here, take a breath. What do you experience in your body? Take a moment, take your awareness to yourself, connect to the aliveness within yourself. What's that like being alive? What's it like? Just in this moment, what's it like being alive? That has nothing to do with your current world. That which you find or don't find or get lost in separate you from everything in your world. Imagine a circle around yourself. Get everything and everyone outside of that circle. Take a breath. Get everyone and everything outside of that circle and then be like, what do you experience in your body? Come back to your body. Separate you from the rest of the world. right? When we develop the skills of being able to go up the ladder, one thing that happens is we learn, we abandon our feelings and give ownership of those feelings to the people around us. And what that does is that gives us the ability to navigate their worlds. Right? When you're a child, it's not your world. You're coming into your mother's world. Your mother is first of all, you don't even know that you're separate from your mother. At the very beginning of your life, you think you are one and the same. And so her world is literally your world. You have to individuate. And then you get to slowly create your world to even understand what your world is. But at the beginning of your life, that's a luxury you don't have. At the beginning of your life, take a breath. You abandoning yourself and bringing everyone into your circle is one of the most important things you do for your survival. And so in order to even figure out where you are, you have to start to get people out of that circle. You have to start to teach your nervous system of what it even means to be separate and removed from everyone else in the world. Imagine that circle around yourself. This is my boundary. I'm safe in my boundary. I'll let you in if I want to. Take a breath. Another breath. What do you experience in your body? This is my boundary. I'm safe in my boundary. I'll let you in if I want to. Get everyone out of that circle. Get everyone out of that circle. You got everything you need inside yourself. Take note of the experience of what it's like for you when you create a little distance with the energetic representations of people and things in your life. When you get them out of your boundary, and then you come back to you, and it's just you. Is it calming? Is it scary? Is it alone? Do you feel alone? Do you feel sad? Do you feel empowered? Take ownership of you. This doesn't belong to anyone else but you. Take a breath. In order to get back to ourselves, we first have to see what we're doing. Identify. We first have to see what we're doing. If you don't even know what you're doing, if you're just playing the same old game, if you believe the narratives that you inject into yourself, Zach, I'm so mad at them. Zach, they did this to me. They did that. Hold on. Come back. Stop giving them so much power. Right? Like even me in this room. What's it like being in this room? Take a breath. What comes up in your body and being in this room? Good. There it is. There's you. Take ownership of that. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just some fucking dude on the internet that is streaming. First, I'm very proud that I figured out how to do this. Also, I was going to do Twitch, but I watch Hassan, and he literally just got banned from Twitch. And then he got onto YouTube and he had like intense amount of people on YouTube. And I was like, I probably need to stick with YouTube, Like I go to Twitch, like, I don't know, this is so niche, like what I'm doing. And so I probably should just go where like probably a lot of the millennials are. Because I imagine a lot of millennials are ready for what I'm trying to give. Right? I think that I think everyone, I want to give it to everyone for sure. But there's a soft spot in my soul for millennials. I feel like it's been a pretty interesting ride, and I want us to change the world. I want emotional revolution. And I think that the millennials and probably Gen Z are pretty ready for that emotional revolution to happen. All the shit that's going on in our world. It is really, at the end of the day, it's much more of a symptom of us as a species and the growth that we need to do. And I think, in all honesty, I think we are moving towards that growth. I think this is just like a teenager who is individuating, who is and like they are rebelling against their parent, and so they're creating chaos. I think that in the world we're kind of in a very similar place, and so I think that it's we're there's a huge opportunity here that we can really push ourselves forward, and so that's really my goal here is SIP to be a vehicle to push ourselves forward, to help push the world forward. And I don't, I hope that a lot of therapists come in and I get to teach a lot of therapists but also regular people. And I also want to say, like, if you don't vibe with this, it's totally cool. It's totally cool. Ain't no thing. No worries. When I was first thinking about doing this, I was thinking, yeah, I'll make this stream. And then I realized, like, this stream I'm making doesn't need to be for everyone. That's why I'm calling it like community space, because it really doesn't need to be for everyone. Not everybody is in a place in which they are ready to change. Like, this kind of therapy is very deep work, very quickly. And I love it. I mean, I created it, obviously, so I love it. I love it. I think it's the best. I think it is the most efficient. Yeah, yeah, whatever. It's true. I love it so much. Um, but not everyone needs to be there. I've learned that with my private practice. Like I am where I am. I want us to go where I want us to go. I'm going to do everything I can to push us forward. But like, just because that's what I want, just because I love it, just because this is it is, to me, it gives me so much. Doesn't mean you need to come with. Maybe you don't want this. It's your life. You can live however you want. You don't have to do the work that you need to, I mean, in my opinion, need to do. You don't need to. Who fucking cares? It's your life. Do whatever you want to do. Take a breath. In my opinion, I want you to have all the tools. I do. I want you to be able to understand what it even means when you are fragmented, what that even means, how to bring yourself back. What are the subtle ways in which you disconnect? What are the lies you tell yourself to keep yourself there? I want you to be able to see the truth of what's happening so that you can be an informed decider on whether you want to stay, you want to actually do the work, or you don't. If you're an informed decider and you come to me and you're like, Zach, I don't really want it, that's okay. That's okay. It's not my life. That's your life. And I honor whatever the fuck you want to do. Take a breath. But this train is moving forward. We are going there. That's what's happening. This stream I'm going to do once a week. It's going to be a place where we can come and we can breathe and we can connect to ourselves. Some of the greatest work, some of the greatest growth that I've had in my life is when I was stuck in a room for like hours and hours and hours doing this work, breathing and just practicing connection. It shot me forward so fast. And so here's the space. Here's our space to do it. I hope that people start to engage. I hope that there's questions. I hope that that's a thing that exists. But if not, that's okay. I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to do this. I'm still going to have this space of connection and growth and teach. And if no one watches now, that's okay. Maybe my kids will pick it up years from now. Maybe after, I'm long gone and dead, some generation years from now picks up and watches a video and goes, "Oh, I get it." I get it. I understand what the fuck he's saying. Um, so yeah, that would, whatever, whatever. Either way, I'm gonna be here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. So two breaths into your chest. So I don't know. I think that maybe this one was a little all over the place. I think I started maybe a little all over the place, but that's okay. I think I'll get better and better at this mode. I think I did hit a good stride, and I was able to convey linearly the thing I wanted to talk about, and maybe I do want to a little more before we go. What else do I want to say? I want to say there's nothing wrong with you. Uh, um, okay. I also want to say before we go, um, you know, I may have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay. I just want you to listen and I want you to make it your own. I want you to make it your own. There was a guy who developed this therapy called integrated body psychotherapy, and his name was Jack Rosenberg. And I think he was so intelligent. He took like the Gestalt therapy and was able to integrate all these other approaches. He really pushed therapy forward, and so I got IBP. And so I'd like to think that I'm doing a similar thing. I'm kind of just taking it to the next thing, like the ladder and everything I've done, like is built off of things in IBP, but it is not. This is the next evolution, in my opinion. Um, but what Jack did incredible things. But the one thing I think he didn't do so well was he made it, and I think this also has to do with the time in which he was a therapist, but he made it kind of a club, kind of like you had to know to know. So like he would only train therapists and it was expensive and it was like in Venice and it was like kept, and like I think that the community they were afraid of people stealing his stuff, and so the people they allowed in and then the people they allowed to stay or kicked out had to do with a lot of fear of this incredible thing that he developed being stolen by other people. And now sitting where I'm sitting, I see that if you create something incredible and you make it a walled garden, what could happen is you could die and it could disappear. And that probably can happen anyways, but I think in order to have the best chance of it succeeding, you kind of just got to be like, take it, 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 take it. So I want to give it to you. I want you to make it your own. I want you to challenge it. I want you to integrate it into your life so that you build your foundation and then look at the blind spots that I may have missed. How can you make this better? How can we take this to the next level? You know, I think it's exciting. I think it's doable. I'm so excited for what the world brings. But whether it does or not, I'm gonna be here pushing. Pushing, 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 pushing. Let's go. Take a breath in your chest. What do you experience in your body? Take a moment. Connect, find you. Okay, so we got to wrap. We got to wrap. I got to go. I got things to do. I got people to see. I'm kind of an important person. I don't know if you can notice that from just the cool stuff. The little workout ball I have over there. Hello, hello, little workout ball. Okay, so how we're gonna wrap? We're gonna take two breaths, and then you're gonna connect to yourself. You're gonna take two breaths into your chest, and then you're gonna connect to the intensity, the aliveness inside yourself, and you're gonna find one word in that place of aliveness. Okay, two breaths into your chest. Take a moment, take your awareness to your body, connect to the aliveness in your body. Find one word lingering in that place. Proud. You can never step in the same river twice. It was a pleasure being in the river today with you guys. I will see you next week. Have a great one.